Welcome everyone to Get Your Game On, the channel dedicated to immersive gaming experiences. And joining me today is the Director of Communications for Pimax, Jaap Grolman. And I want to thank you for taking the time to join me. So thanks for being here.
Yeah, thank you for giving us this opportunity to explain a little bit more.
Absolutely. And before we get into it, I want to address this. If you're just catching this and you don't know what's going on, I did a video, and we're not going to go into the whole thing, but I wanted to give Pimax a chance to respond to a recent video that I did. And I want to address some of the comments that I've seen in that video. I've had a few people that say, oh, you shouldn't even give them a platform to speak on. That goes completely against everything I believe in on this channel. I believe in being fair. I don't censor comments. I try to let everybody speak their mind. As long as they're at least reasonably civil. So that's why we're here. Plus, I had several commenters that really wanted to hear what Pimax had to say about this situation. And so I think really this is the right way to go about this, to give them a chance to share their side of this story. And, you know, and just to start off, I'm going to start off right off the bat, the elephant in the room. This is a lot of damage control, in my opinion. And, you know, so I fully think that's what we're getting into, but I also want to hear what you have to say, and I definitely want the audience out there to hear your side of the story. So let's get into it.
Yeah, sure. I think it's probably it's like damage control, but I also think I'll probably take a little bit more the long-term view of this.
Okay.
I think your video was very fair, and so my hope is still to get something good out of this. I'm sure we can get good out of this situation, because there's no point in now giving some pretty words and then next week we have the same issue. And there's not like some cosmetic change to it.
Yeah.
And I think your video was quite fair. That's also why I agreed to do this interview. Like, you made a lot of good points.
Well, yeah, and I want to make it clear also that I think it's important that Pimax succeeds. You guys have a product in the Pimax Crystal that is vastly needed in the marketplace. There is nothing else out there right now that hits that medium level price point that has the quality as far as the visuals and what that headset brings to the market. The issue I have, and what concerns me, is there seems to be a quality control issue there, and you know, those things concern me. So it's really, I do want to see you succeed, and I'm anxious to hear what you guys came up with. So I'm looking forward to hearing kind of where you're at with everything, and you know, what Pimax is thinking moving forward.
Yeah. So this part I'm also really thankful for. Like, even in the video where even your complaint video, you still speak about Pimax products, as you can still hear the enthusiasm
They're so
in your
good when they
voice.
work. They're so good when they work. That's the
So
problem.
so this is you are exactly the type of customer that we would really want to see, that enthusiasm of virtual reality in the technology and the experience. And so to drop the ball on this is really painful. I think to explain the situation a little bit, like, why did it happen and how do we go forward? I think why did it happen? There's several reasons coming together. I think management. So we know customer. I think the main problem is communication. I think that's the root of any problem. But management, we sort of knew how customer care is functioning. Like, we know the rules for warranty and refunds and communication. And that's the same with everything in the company. Like logistics, I would also know the basic rules of how it is shipped out. But I cannot see each individual shipment or Pimax Play. I know the features, but I don't know how the code is written. And then customer care, we know the rules, but then we don't have the time to look case by case. So I think management didn't look, we cannot look case by case, but we should look more detailed into it. So that's one issue. Management just didn't control that good enough. And then we have all those protocols or terms, but then there's still a lot of gray areas. I think that's also your case. Like, okay, what if a customer has a replacement headset? Okay, sure, we send a replacement headset, but what if there's no replacement headset rightly available?
Sure.
Then, okay, that's a gray area. That shouldn't be, but that's why it happened. The same with, what if you're in warranty and you try to solve the issue, and then what if solving the issue pushes you out of warranty? Again, maybe it sounds like a no-brainer. Okay, you just extend warranty, but we didn't have that rule or protocol in place before. So a lot of gray areas. And then another reason on top of that, because all those things should not be problems on their own, but then combined with that customer care, we recently moved it, I think half a year ago, from logistics and sales into closer to product team to provide better technical support. So it's a little bit very young and inexperienced department. They work very hard, but then in those gray areas, which shouldn't exist, but then if there's any doubt, you should always go with the customer. And for some reason,
Yeah.
they, yeah,
Yeah, that's always a good way to go. I agree with you on that one.
yeah, because you're gonna run into a million situations, and every situation is slightly different. Any doubt, go with the customer. But then that didn't happen as we've seen.
Yeah.
So that's three reasons. And then I think some other reasons as well, like we should stock more headsets for replacements. And when we check them, we should not allow third parties to check those replacement headsets, but we should do that ourselves.
Yeah.
And so, and then there's another reason is like the probably, again, it's not a good reason, but the escalate option didn't work super well. I also saw online that, okay, some people said, we only help you now because you're a YouTuber and your
Yeah.
video got a lot of views.
Yeah.
I think a lot of the critique is fair, but I don't necessarily agree with that one. Because on Reddit and Discord, I always say people can always find me, can always send me a DM, and the same for Kelvin, who's my direct colleague. You can check my Reddit history, and so I don't have the time to do customer care. But if people say, I don't think this situation is fair, please have a look, then I'll ask the ticket number and then have a look or push.
And on that point, because that hits something I wanted to touch on, because I saw those comments too. And believe me, you know, there's almost 1,300 comments now, and there are a lot, I mean, far more than I even imagined, that are having a similar situation to what I've run into. So we're talking hundreds of customers that have run into the same thing I have, and they don't have a voice. They don't have the YouTube channel. So let me just ask you, because this is one of the questions I wanted to ask you. Let's assume I didn't have a YouTube channel. What should I have done to get this kind of result? Not if just saying I didn't have a YouTube channel. So what should I have done differently?
Yeah, fair question. I think on Reddit and Discord, we handled so again, the rules should not have, the terms should not have so many gray areas, and we should stock more headsets for replacements. And we should do better. We should do the quality check on those internally, not have third parties do that. And then the customer care in any doubt should always side with the customer. Okay, regardless of that, there's still going to be some cases where the customer will feel, I don't think this is fair, I want a second opinion, or I want to push the brake.
Right.
I think on Discord and Reddit, we do that fair. People can always tag us, and then people just give me or other colleagues a ticket number, and then we look into that. And for email, we actually have the escalate option. It's like a red link on the bottom. I don't think it's visible enough for people. I don't think, to be honest, I don't think you used it.
No, and I'll tell you right now, I didn't. And one of the reasons I didn't use it is because it didn't even seem like the responses I was getting back from the customer service agent, it was even anything was up for debate. It just sounded like this is the way it is, and it came across as though they'd already talked to management and this is just what we're going to do. So I honestly was like, well, there's no point in even escalating it. What I would recommend, just one of the things I've been thinking about, I really think you should train your customer service people that if a customer is saying, you're never getting another dime from me, or the customer says, I have a YouTube channel, I'm going to let everybody know, I think the customer service agent better be trained to, maybe I should hit the escalate button because this might be something that gets out of control. Because I honestly, I knew it was there, but the approach and what I heard, it never, I was like, well, it's not going to do any more good. And see, and I'm kind of a worst case scenario as well, because I'm not a big Reddit guy, and I'm also not a big Discord guy. So really, that official link going through the support ticket is my main mode of communication. So if it's working great in Discord and it's working great on Reddit, that's great. But if it wasn't for Jeff Weaver saying, hey, you should go on to Discord, or sorry, saying I should go on to Reddit, I wouldn't have even done it. I would have just been stuck in the whole support ticket thing. So if you can get that up to speed with what, you know, the other side is, I think that's an important thing to tackle for sure.
Yeah, we want to make it more clear in the email and maybe make a separate landing page for that. Again, it's like a last solution. It should not be used, but there will still be cases where it's useful, probably. Yeah, yeah, we're definitely going to train the customer care, like any doubt, side with the customer. Actually, we had meetings about this on Saturday and Sunday evening, and yesterday, Monday evening. Always go with the customer, and also the rules are just rules. You can always, if a customer request is reasonable, then always go with that, because most people's requests are quite reasonable. I also replied in the on the YouTube comment. This is not our company's belief. So management has this idea. Customers are always in the first place. Doesn't look like this based on this case. I think just management, we were not aware that cases were being handled like this within the gray areas, because this is entirely not fair in your case, but also other cases.
Well, and
So
I think one of the problems you're going to run into is, you know, a lot of the consumers have heard this before. You know, they've heard, yeah, we need to do better, yeah, all this stuff. And like I said, I was shocked at how many other people had that. So you've got hundreds of people. So why should the customer believe that now things are going to change when they've heard this before? What is there any practical changes being made? Is there anything concrete? Why should they believe you this time versus and obviously you're new to this, so that we're talking way back before you were even there. But it's kind of been the same old story forever. So is there any concrete things that are changing that they can now take faith in that, okay, Pimax is going to get better?
yeah, I work here with a straight face. I really believe in the product. I also believe in the fairness of the company. I didn't know about your case.
Yeah.
I always tell to people, any problem, you can always reach out to me. You can always send me an email on Discord or Reddit. I don't know what else is there, but you can always, I'm very easy to reach. I will reply within a day. And the same for other people like Calvin. He's also very active. But any problem, you can always reach me. Robin has the same attitude. I think he's maybe a bit harder to, Robin is the founder. Same attitude. Anything for customers, and anything should be fair. So I'm here with a straight face that everything will be fair. As for going forward with customer care, I think management will get more involved. So we have meetings twice a week to go over escalated cases, but also look at cases, not every case one by one, but to dive more deep into that, so that also those things are executed according to what we believe is fair and correct. Customer care is going to do better training to really tell the staff, okay, any doubt, go with the customer, and any rule, you can overrule it. That is partly better communication inside customer care, but also, okay, I need to take this out of customer care because there's a problem with logistics or there's another problem. Okay. We want to remove those gray areas. Okay, we promise to send you a replacement headset, but there's none available. Like, okay, let's not wait indefinitely, but then then either, okay, we're going to offer a refund, or we're going to have a different headset to send you in the meantime. And also we're going to stock more headsets for replacements that cannot be touched for anything else, just to have this as a safe option. And those headsets should also not be checked by a third party. And the escalate option should be more clear. It should be a last option, but like, okay, I want a second opinion about this. In the first place, we need to have, again, the gray areas cleared and a better sense of customer care, that they will side with the customer. I think we all work in office. I think I always think, okay, our customers, I'm a customer myself of other companies. I will save money and then buy something, and you expect it to work. And we know how hard everybody works to save their money, and then to spend it at Pimax, we have a super big responsibility for that. That's not a protocol or anything, but it's just a belief. Okay, we have this responsibility to the customer. So this this belief also needs to be instilled in everybody working anywhere in the company, like from the designers to the people in customer care. I think that attitude lacked a little bit. So we need to give better training on this. Rules are just rules, and customer care needs to work for the customer, not the company. And this is also what we discussed internally in the last 3 days. We had meetings every day about this. Like customer care, you really work for the customer, not the company. So sometimes if a customer complains, then you have to feel personally responsible and go one layer up. And if that doesn't work, then go another layer up. Like, okay, I need to solve this problem. Give me the tools to do so. I cannot let him wait for several weeks for the replacement headset.
Yeah.
So this mindset belief.
Yeah, and to be fair, you guys made me aware of, well, we don't have them. It's going to be this date. It's going to be this date. The date moved a few times, but you know, so you guys didn't fault on that. You weren't saying, hey, we're going to get you a new headset next week, and then it was next week, next week. You were clear in your communications about that with me, so I don't have any problem with that. When I had a problem was the fact that all of a sudden it's like, well, you're out of warranty now, and it's like, wait a minute, I just got this replacement. It's defective. You know, so that was kind of where my frustration really boiled over. And just, I think the problem, I think based on the comments I read, and I'm just going to give you some insight to, I think one of the challenges that you may be facing. I think the customer base feels a little bit like, you know, you're basically getting left on the side of the road as you guys pursue new customers. We see you, you know, making agreements with Microsoft for their flight sim. We see you making agreements with DCS. We see you spending money to promote new customers coming in. And then it seems like a customer that has a problem comes in and it's like, what do you mean I have to pay for my own shipping? What do you mean I have to pay extra dollars for that? So there's this general feeling, I think, out here that it's like, okay, once you've got our money, you're moving on to the next one. And I think that's, and I had a sense of that, but I really have a firm sense of that after spending the last 3 days looking through the comments and reading the same kind of theme over and over and over. So is there anything you can say to address that general sentiment? Is there like, you guys are spending marketing money like crazy, but you won't even, you know, pay for the shipping for this replacement thing that I need? So I'd like to speak to that if you would.
There's 2 points in here. Spending marketing money, we have a lot of partnerships with Microsoft. They just chose our headset. Yeah, this is not spending any money. This is really a partnership. Same with DCS and others. Of course, we are still a company. We still need new customers. Otherwise, everything closes.
Sure.
I think Crystal. We are still working on the software. The 60G is coming out. We made a lot of changes to Pimax Play. A few of them, they only apply to the Crystal Lite because in some parts it's just a different headset, but many features also carry over to the Crystal. I know upscaling is being tested now for the Crystal because it's a different code. Crystal's on Android and then Crystal Lite is on Windows. So we have to, that's still coming, and I think if people feel that way, I would love to talk with them and see where the pain is.
Pretty sure you're going to get the chance if you check the comments below. I'm pretty sure you're going to get a sense of that off of this video. So
yeah, but a lot of comments are not super specific. So
Sure.
also customer care is going to reach out to those people and ask, okay, what is really exactly the problem? Otherwise, it's very hard to solve. Again, also with Crystal, some people still have like audio delay bug. We also want to solve that. So I also reached out to those and like, please send me a Pimax log, Pimax Play log, so that we can solve this issue. I know this is not really an answer to the whole situation, but I would have to know the exact case for this.
Sure. Well, like I said, I'm sure I don't think people are going to be shy about sharing their experiences. So if that's reaching you on Discord or whatever, I'm pretty sure you'll get plenty of feedback based on what I've seen. So hopefully that will help you move forward with whatever plans you have. And, you know, I guess let's talk a little bit about that. One of the things that I've seen a lot of people talk about is the infamous 12K and the upgrade program where you sold a lot of the 8KXs where, you know, basically saying the 12K was coming out, and then it's been crickets. Nobody's heard anything about the 12K. So do you want to speak a little bit for those people that are saying, yeah, I don't think the 12K is ever coming out. What's up with that? I mean, do you want to touch on that and try to give some of these customers that might have bought the 8KX under that, you know, kind of assumption it was coming, at least give them some idea of what's going on there?
Yeah, sure. I think the 12K, I think we did do some updates also in July about the progress or the difficulties. At 12K, I can totally understand the feeling because it's taking quite long. 12K is just quite extreme machine in terms of specs, so we have to come up with some unconventional solutions to get there. Like there's a panel solution. I cannot really share that in detail, but one thing we discussed before is like the dual bridge chip or like the dual DisplayPort solution to get enough bandwidth. That didn't, when we announced it, that was the plan, but then some of those things didn't work out the way we wanted. Like the visual effect is not good enough. So, and also internally, every headset has its own code. Like we don't call it the 12K or we don't call it the Crystal or Crystal Lite internally. They're all part of the third generation of headset. So, and then within the third generation of headset, the 12K is still the first. It was really planned before Crystal, but then those solutions didn't work the way we wanted. That's why the Crystal and Crystal Lite is super. It is definitely still being worked on. We want to use the 5090 to use that bandwidth to optimize for the 12K. Of course, we know that it's taking quite long. I think one solution we want, and we will announce it later this month, so very soon, because the trade-in program, we want to offer some value of those headsets that people can trade them in for the Crystal Super. We have to check the exact amount because I think already original Crystal owners, they can have a discount of $399 for the Super, and we want to do a similar solution for 5K or 8K users. Maybe according to the value of the machine, maybe half of the value you can trade in now for the Super and then later for the 12K.
And then then still trade it in for the 12K later. Then, that's what you're saying. So it's not like an exchange thing where you would. It's kind of like an intermediate step. Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah, you can use half of the trade-in value, for instance, now. And these details we will confirm really soon. But
sure. Okay.
That's it. Doesn't totally make it right, but at least a little bit fairer, we feel.
Okay. Okay, excellent. I mean, I want to reiterate, I really am pulling for Pimax, especially for the Crystal Lite, because that's the only headset out there that's in that price range that gives you that experience. But I'm not willing to promote it at the expense of the customer and at the cost of the customer. And that's where it's a full stop for me. When you start, you know, taking advantage of the customer, that's where I can't get behind you anymore. So that's where my frustration is. And, you know, what I would say, you know, what I want to do, I'm known, since I started this channel, I have been answering everybody's comment. That's what I always try to do. I always try to reply to everybody that comments on this. What I'm going to do is a little different on this video. I'm going to stay out of it because if you want to know my feelings on this, there's a ton of my comments on the other video that I did. What I'm going to do on this one is I'm going to stay out of it altogether. That'll give you and Calvin an opportunity, if you want to come into the comments, and that way if you see something and there's no reply to it, you can take the opportunity to reply to anybody in the comments in this, because I'm going to stay completely out of the comment section in this video for the first time on this channel. But I want that to be an opportunity for you guys to be able to get in there and maybe talk to some of these people directly, if you think, you know, that you can be of value there. Because I feel like there are definitely some people that may just be angry, but I've seen some legitimate concerns and some legitimate, you know, responses that really trouble me. And again, I feel the weight of that on my shoulders, because they're sitting there going, I don't have a YouTube channel. I don't get to talk to Pimax. You know, I'm just stuck out here talking to the customer service guys. So that weight has really been on me, and I really want to do what I can to speak for the customer and hopefully resolve a lot of these issues. Because again, that Crystal Light is a hell of a headset, and I sure would like to see it, number one, have very low return rates, and I'd like to see it get adopted. But Pimax has to come along as a company and take care of the customers before I can get behind that. And that's just where I feel. So, you know, on that note, I kind of feel that's, you know, that kind of wraps up what we've talked here. But in all fairness, I want to give you the absolute last word to talk about anything you want to, and, you know, address the customer, address whatever you feel is important. But I'm going to give you the last word on this video, and then, you know, we'll in the end let the customers decide what they think of all this.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I think our attitudes are very similar. Like, we want VR to succeed. We want
Yes.
Pimax to succeed.
Yes.
I really believe in our technology, and I'm really interested in the technology. Also, the customers. The customers are why we have this company, why I can go to work every day, get on my bike, and get here. From the Kickstarter campaign 6-7 years ago until now, I think the Crystal Light, we have already improved the quality control a lot, and also the software features. And anything people think is not fair or they want to discuss, people can always reach me. And the same for many people in the company. We have really the saying inside the company, the customers first, always in the first place. Doesn't look like that from your case. I think several things went wrong and then put together made a mess of it. But the intention is always the customers is in the first place. And that's true in the past and true going forward. So we'll learn from this and improve from it. And I hope people, if we improve, that people will see it and also change their mind on it. And happy to be in touch with anyone to talk about this, and also their individual situation.
And I appreciate that. I think that's important. So that should wrap it up. So until next time, I want to thank everybody for tuning in, and remember to get your game on.